to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this wonderful little 8-stringed instrument. My name is Mike DeJong, and this video is another special video, another special look at 5 songs that, that you can play on the mandolin. And in fact, this video is looking at 5 easy rock songs that you can play on the mandolin. Now, these aren't exactly total beginner songs. You have to have some facility with basic open chords. But if you do, these songs shouldn't pose much of a problem for you. So I'm going to give you 5 easy rock songs that you can play right away on the mandolin and go over to jam with your friends or even just play by yourself with them. They are a lot of fun to play on the mandolin. But first, a little bit of business before we get to the 5 easy rock songs. Please, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that little subscriber button down there in the lower right corner on the way out. Also, if you can, hit the like button down below. Same story if you are a returning visitor. Thanks very much for coming back. We really appreciate your support. Hit that like button and don't forget to check out our links down below. We have some Patreon links down below and some affiliate links. Affiliate links showing some of the products that I use for mandolin playing and recording. And the Patreon link will get you to it'll get you over to our Patreon site where we're offering monthly jam sessions and one-on-one lessons with me. All those kinds of things if you become a member of our Patreon page. But that's enough business for this video. Let's take a look at 5 easy songs, 5 easy rock and roll songs for mandolin right here on RPM. And that was Tom Petty's Free Falling for mandolin, a very easy song for you to play on the 8-string. In fact, there are only 3 chords through the entire song, 3 chords repeating all throughout the track. Goes to show you that you don't really need to be too complex to have a great song. That certainly is a fantastic tune by the late Tom Petty, one of his best and one of his biggest hits as well. It comes from his 1989 album, first solo album called Full Moon Fever, and a really great track. So in this video, I'm going to show you the basic parts for the song. I won't show you the whole thing. In fact, all of these songs that I'm going to show you today, I will just show you the basics, the basic chord progressions for the verses and some of the choruses. If you want to learn the entire songs, please check on the videos or check out the videos that I have on this channel. I have special videos for all 5 of these songs on this channel, including this one, Free Falling, right here, which will show you more in-depth parts for these tunes that I'm going to show you in today's video. In this video, let's look at the basics. So the basic chords for Free Fallin' by Tom Petty are here. And I should point out that I'm playing this song on the mandolin in a slightly different key than Tom Petty plays it. In fact, I'm playing it 1 note up, basically. He does his original track in the key of F on the guitar. It's capoed up a few frets on the guitar. I believe it's in the key of F, but I'm going to show you how to do it in the key of G here on the mandolin to make it easier for you. You can still play it in F if you want to play the original version, but let's try it in G, all right? So what are the chords? Well, all right, so what are those simple chords? Well, it's a G chord, your basic G with the at the base of the neck here, the open G with the 2nd fret of the A string and the 3rd fret of the E string, right? Just like that, a G chord. Then I move up to here, which is a G sus4. And G sus4, a sus4 chord, just means a suspended 4th, or the 4th note of a scale. So in this case, it's the 4th note of the G scale. So G, A, B, C. That 3rd fret of the A string is now included in your chord. So instead of this 2nd fret and 3rd fret, it's now 3rd fret and 3rd fret together, like that. And I just changed fingers here from my 1st finger to my 2nd finger to grab that chord. Okay, so G to G sus4, and then, so you're going back from the G sus4 back to the G very quickly, and then to a D chord. Open D chord right there, all right? So that's second fret of your G string, open D, open A, and second fret of the E string, right? So that's your first position or open D chord, all right? What is the strumming pattern there? Well, the strumming pattern is pretty basic. It goes, right? So just one strum on those two chords, and then just like that. Very simple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Now, throughout the song, even though it's the same chord progression all throughout the song, he does change up the strumming pattern a little bit. So later in the song, when it becomes sort of muted, they go like that. And you can mute it using a palm mute technique, all right? That's where you put your right hand palm right over the bridge of your mandolin down here and kind of deaden the strings a little bit when you're strumming. Can you see that? All right, so here you want to go. So just lift up slightly while you hit those main chords, all the while keeping that repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 strumming pattern. So this pattern comes up a couple of times in free falling. It's really cool. It's just a different way of playing the same chords over and over, right? So he does change things up a bit. He just changes up the rhythmic strumming patterns rather than the chords themselves. So that is Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, a #1 song here for you on 5 easy rock songs for mandolin. And that is the second easy rock song for you on mandolin. That's a song called Hard Sun, done by Eddie Vedder a few years ago. It comes from a movie soundtrack. The movie's called Into the Wild. But that song was actually written a number of years ago, back in the 80s, I think, by a very obscure Canadian performer named Indio. And I don't know where Eddie Vedder heard the track, but he did, and he liked it, so he decided to do a cover version of it. And it's a really fun song, and again, it's really easy, basically 4 chords throughout the tune. It starts off like this. And you can either do it simply strumming like that, or you can get it, you can make it a little more complex by, sort of increasing your right hand strumming. So, but if you want to just keep it simple, just go D chord here, right? First position D chord, second fret of the G string, and second fret of the E right there. And what you're doing is just lifting that finger off to sort of have a little pickup note there. And again, this becomes a D sus4 chord, D sus4, because you're using the G note there, which is the 4th in the D scale, right? So, and actually the original version, or the Eddie Vedder version, does do that extra strumming there. All right, so you're just going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, like that. Okay, so on the D chord. That's the pattern throughout the verses in this song. So what did I do there? Well, I went from the D chord to a C chord and to a G chord. Back to the D chord. All right, so your C chord is just your standard first position C right here, second fret of the D string, third fret of the A, and then to the G chord, right? Move that pattern up, basically, to the second fret of the A, second fret of the G, all right? So those are your basic chords. Now, I did embellish the C chord and G chord a little bit by doing kind of the same thing that I did with the D, pulling that first finger off here. So on the C chord, you can pull your first finger off and make that an open chord, an open string there, the D, by keeping that third finger locked down though. So, and you can do the same thing on the G chord by pulling that first finger off again off the A string and keeping the third finger locked there. So one more time that pattern. Now the choruses have one slight change. Instead of going to a C chord, they go to an A minor chord and then the G. So it's like this. So that's pretty easy as well if you know how to do that A minor chord here, the voicing at the 5th fret of the G, 2nd fret of the D, and then these two strings open. And again, you can also do that sort of pull-off note there as well on the 2nd fret like this. Right, and into the G. So the choruses are D, A minor, G, back to D. And that's all you need for the verses and the choruses of Hard Sun, cover version done by Eddie Vedder. And that was Knockin' on Heaven's Door, originally written by Bob Dylan in 1973 for a movie soundtrack. But of course, that song has been covered numerous times and probably more well-known for the cover versions, I would argue. Maybe some of you guys might disagree, but certainly Eric Clapton's more reggae-style version of Knockin' on Heaven's Door is quite popular and quite well-known. He did that in the mid-70s. And then Guns N' Roses also did a copy of this song, or a cover of this song, in the 80s. And that was, of course, a more heavy version of the song with some cool solos by Slash. But Knockin' on Heaven's Door is a really simple song to play. It's basically only 4 chords as well, so you're like this. And that's it. That's the entire song, just those 4 chords, all right? So what are they? Well, again, like many of the songs on this list, we're starting with an open G chord here, right? 2nd fret of the A, 3rd fret of the E, and just to the D chord, to that first position D chord now. So what the strumming pattern there is, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So, and what you want to try to do is hit that D chord on sort of an upbeat there. So like that if you can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Just going into the 2nd bar. Okay, so all right, so what's that chord? Well, that is one version of an A minor chord. All right, so it's G to D to A minor here. And I'm using this voicing this time. You can also use that other A minor voicing. In fact, off the top of this video, I used both voicings of A minor. So I did this one first, and then I did this one later, okay? So what you want to do is put your first finger here over the 2nd fret of the G and the 2nd fret of the D, and then your 3rd finger goes right there on the 3rd fret of the A string. Okay, that's an A minor chord. And this A minor, of course, as I just showed you in the previous song, is 5th fret here of the G, 2nd fret of the D, and open E and A. Okay, so here we go again. Knocking on Heaven's Door. G, D, A minor, and back to G, D again, and C this time. So really, it's almost the same chord. The only thing different is I'm not holding that 2nd fret on the G string down now. I'm going with that C open chord there. And that makes it a C chord rather than an A minor chord in this voicing here. Okay, so G, and that's it. That's the entire song. Now, I believe Eric Clapton does those chords in the opposite order. I actually haven't listened to the Eric Clapton version. I've listened to the Guns N' Roses and the Bob Dylan one. Bob Dylan's version follows this pattern that I just showed you. So G to D to A minor, and then G to D to C. And again, I think Eric Clapton's version does the opposite. It goes to C first and then to the A minor later. But yeah, you just want to do those patterns and you can get this song down. A really easy rock song. Number 3 on my list of 5 easy rock songs for mandolin. Okay, that is Under the Boardwalk acoustic version. I'm basing that little pattern off of the version that John Mellencamp did in the 1980s. He did a really nice acoustic version of the song. But Under the Boardwalk, of course, was first done by a band called the Drifters in 1964. It's also been covered, this song, by many other people, including even Bruce Willis. Yeah, Bruce Willis did a cover. But anyway, it's pretty fun to play, and again, it starts with a G chord here, like most of the songs on this list. All right, so when the sun beats down, it melts the tar on the roof, something like that. And your shoes get so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Please excuse my vocals. Under the boardwalk. You can see why. I need John Mellencamp in here to sing it for me. Okay, and once again, I have a lesson for this song. If you want to learn some of the more intricate solos, I do a version of the guitar solo on mandolin in the lesson I have on Under the Boardwalk on this channel. Please check it out. But let's look at those chords again. So we start with the G chord, and then we go to the D, and then you stay on the D, and back to G. How easy is that, eh? So just 2 chords to start off with. Your basic first position G chord again, and then your first position D chord, and then you stay on the D again for a few more measures, and then back to the G. All right, so when the sun beats down, that's the tar on the roof, right? Stay on the D. The fuse gets so hot, you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk. Now we go to a C chord, and then back to the G. With my baby is where I'll be. Okay, so under the boardwalk, the C back to the G. On a blanket with my D chord is where I'll G. Did you catch that? So the chorus is the C chord, back to the G chord, to a D chord, back to the G. Okay, and there's another cool little part in the song that's also fairly simple. Under the boardwalk, we'll be out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun, and so on. Right? It goes through that for a few more measures than I just played there, but it's really simple. It's 2 more chords for you. An E minor chord here, which is basically just open G, 2nd fret, and open. Okay, and I use a bar, my first finger there, just straight up and down to a D chord. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the right? So it's just 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So 2 measures of E minor into 2 measures of D, 2 measures of E minor, and so on. And then it ends on the E minor. Boardwalk. So that's just up and down, up and down. Or actually down and up if you want to get technical about it, right? And that's it, Under the Boardwalk, the John Mellencamp version, originally done by the Drifters, on my 5 easy rock songs list for mandolin. All right, and that is Green Day's Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. Another easy rock song. In fact, it's number 1 on my list of 5 easy rock songs for mandolin. Now, this song is maybe the most difficult on this list because it just has a few more chords than the other tunes. But again, they are mostly open first position chords, so if you've got your first position chords down a little bit even, you can play this song. All right, and this song opens like this. Right, now the original guitar version has Billy Joe from Green Day sort of he's arpeggiating the song, which means he's picking the notes to the chords individually. I'm not doing that here on the mandolin. I'm just doing more of a straightforward strumming for you to simplify it. But if you want, once you get more adept at doing, you can do something like that as well if you want. For the purposes of this video, an easy rock song, let's just stick with the chords, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm hitting this open G string a little bit first, and then so it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's a G chord there, right? Open G. Now a C chord here, and D chord. So this goes a little more quickly than some of the other songs I've showed you on this list. It's a little more tricky, but you can get it. They are first position open chords after all. So here, G, quickly to C, and D, back to G, C, D. Okay, those are the verses to this song. So once again, it's G, and then C, D, G. All right? Okay, so from there it gets a little more tricky, but still, I don't think it's too difficult for you. I think it's still within the reach of, well, high beginner players or low intermediates. It's not too hard. It's got a few more open chords, so let's see where it goes from that verse. So, G, C, D, G, G, C. Now we're going E minor, D, C, G, E minor, D, C, G, E minor, G, E minor, G, E minor, D, G. All right, okay, so hopefully you're able to follow along with all those chords. I'll show you them now. So after the first part of the verse, it goes kind of in a reverse pattern like that. So it goes E minor chord and a D chord, all first position, C chord to a G. So, and again, the strumming's just straight up and down. So E minor, D, C, G, E minor, D, C, G. Okay, so that's your strumming pattern. All right, so what do we have so far? Well, the verses, it's G, C to D, G, C, D. Let's do the E minor part. E minor, D, C, G, E minor, D, C, G. All right, are you with me so far? Now the E minor part does something a little different. He goes just E minor back to G. E minor back to G. E minor, D, G. Okay, one more time. E minor, G, E minor, G, E minor, D, G. Okay, and those are all the chords to this song by Green Day. Now, there are some little lead lines and some violin parts in the song that you can also do on the mandolin. I'm not going to show you those in this video. If you want to learn those, check out the video I did for Good Riddance by Green Day here on this channel. And I know you'll have fun learning those parts once you get the basic chords down pat. All right, that's it. My list of 5 easy rock songs for mandolin. Maybe some of you might say they're not quite that easy, but certainly if you learn your open chords, your first position chords, you should be able to get all of these songs down and then move on to more complex patterns, licks, and solos from there. And of course, again, I have all of these songs on this channel, so check out those videos. Thanks once again for tuning into RPM. I really appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that subscriber button if you're new here. And also give us a like if you like this video. And check out our Patreon and affiliate links down below. My name's Mike DeJong. Thanks again for watching RPM.